All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to unpack the official playbook for a healthier life, the Physical Activity Guidelines for Americans. Think of this as the ultimate cheat sheet for your own well-being.
But first, let me just ask you something. What if there was one single habit that could dramatically lower your risk of chronic disease and at the same time boost your mood, help you sleep better, and give you more energy? Kinda sounds like a magic pill, right?
Well, according to the nation's top health experts, it's totally real. And no, it's not some crazy expensive secret or complicated biohack. It's actually much, much simpler. It's all about movement. So let's get into why this is such a big deal.
To really get why this matters so much, we have to look at the flip side of the coin first. What's the problem we're trying to solve here? Well, it's the absolutely staggering cost of inactivity.
Here's the tough truth. Most of us just are not moving enough. Take a look at this. The numbers have barely budged an inch since 2008. Fewer than 1 in every 4 adults are actually meeting the recommended goals for both aerobic and muscle-strengthening stuff. And that lack of movement, wow, it comes with a huge price tag. We're talking about $117 billion, with a B, dollars in healthcare costs, every single year, just from people not getting enough physical activity. But even beyond the money, the human cost is it's even more significant. Think about this. Roughly 1 out of every 10 premature deaths is linked to inactivity. So yeah, this goes way beyond just feeling good. It is a critical health issue. So that's the problem. But what's the solution? Well, thankfully, there is a plan, a real, official, science-backed roadmap for the entire country.
And let's be super clear, this is not just another fitness fad you see on social media. The Physical Activity Guidelines for Americans is the real deal. It's the definitive resource coming straight from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and it's designed for everybody, from policymakers all the way down to you and me.
And these guidelines don't just sit on a shelf gathering dust. They actually evolve as the science evolves. They were first released back in 2008, and then they got a major update in 2018 after a top-tier scientific committee reviewed years and years of new research. So the bottom line is this. What we're about to cover is the most current, most reliable advice out there, period.
Okay, so let's get to the good stuff. What do these guidelines actually tell us we should do? Let's break down the core recommendations.
So you're going to hear this phrase a lot, moderate intensity. But what does that even mean? And how are you supposed to know if you're actually hitting that target without a bunch of fancy gear? It's actually way simpler than you think. There's this great little trick called the talk test. Basically, if you're moving and you can still talk, but you couldn't really belt out your favorite song, you're in that moderate intensity zone. And if you can only gasp out a few words at a time before needing a breath, well, that's vigorous. See? Super easy, right?
Okay, so for most adults, here are the numbers to aim for. You're shooting for 150 to 300 minutes of that moderate intensity aerobic stuff each week. That could be brisk walking, cycling, even some heavy gardening. Now, if you like to crank up the intensity, you can do 75 to 150 minutes of vigorous activity, like running. And this part is super important. On top of that, you want to add muscle strengthening activities at least 2 days a week. Think lifting weights, push-ups, that kind of thing.
Now what about kids and teens? For them, it's actually simpler. 60 minutes or more of activity every single day. And that daily hours should be a mix. You want some vigorous stuff like running, some muscle strengthening like climbing on a playground, and some bone strengthening work like jumping rope, and each of those should happen at least 3 days a week. And for older adults, the baseline is pretty much the same as for other adults, but with one really crucial addition: multi-component activities that include balanced training. This is so important for reducing the risk of falls. And the key here is to judge your effort based on your own fitness level. It's all about being as active as you can be. Okay, now we're getting to what I think is the most exciting part of this whole thing. The latest guidelines include a complete game-changing update that makes being active feel so much more achievable than ever. This is a huge shift in thinking. See, the old rule was that activity only counted if you did it for at least 10 minutes straight. Well, you can just forget that. The new evidence-based guideline says that any burst of activity, no matter how short, contributes to your weekly total. So what does that look like in real life? That quick climb up the stairs at work? It counts. A 2-minute dance party in your kitchen while you wait for the microwave? That counts too. Taking the dog for a fast walk around the block? Yep, it all adds up.
And this right here might be the most crucial point of all. The biggest, most powerful health benefits come when you go from doing nothing to doing something. You don't have to become a marathon runner overnight. Just getting started makes the most incredible difference. Some is always, always better than none.
So, how do you actually put all of this into practice? Well, the guidelines are really clear on this. The best plan is the one that's personal to you. This is the whole spirit behind their Move Your Way campaign. It's not about forcing yourself into a workout you hate. The message couldn't be simpler. Find activities that you genuinely enjoy, because let's be real, those are the ones you're actually going to stick with.
And if you're just starting out, the advice is simply to start low and go slow. Begin with activities that feel comfortable, maybe just walking. Then, gradually, you can start increasing how often you do it, and for how long, before you even think about cranking up the intensity. Because ultimately, consistency is absolutely everything. Whether it's walking, running, dancing, or playing a sport, the best physical activity plan on the planet is the one that you'll actually do, week after week.
So, there you have it. You've seen the science. You've got the official playbook. The only question left is, what's your move?